Good morning, everyone. Welcome to an all-new edition of On the Mark TV and Radio from Westfield Community Programming, 89.5 WSKB, and our media partners at Southwick Community Television and Agawam Media. I'm your host, Mark Auerbach. Today, for our first half hour, we're going to the Berkshires and to film all over Western Massachusetts with Diane Pearlman from the Berkshire Film and Media Collabrative. Always great to see you, Diane. How are you?
I'm fabulous, Mark. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I mean, summer is still here for a few fleeting days, but the film industry has had a great summer in Western Mass.
There have been quite a few independent films shooting here and some great things coming up in the future. So we're really excited.
And I know you at Berkshire Film and Media are in the middle of a fundraising effort to build a new studio, fully equipped, on the campus of Shakespeare and Company that will be a learning center for Western Mass filmmakers.
Yes, we're very excited. It's called Kemble Street Studios. It really is an international film education center, which means we're going to bring filmmakers from around the world to teach here. It's going to be open to our community and everyone in Western Massachusetts, but really as a place for people to learn the craft of filmmaking and responsible media messaging. So we'll have classrooms, but we will have a full working stage with virtual reality capabilities, post-production facilities, editing, sound mixing, color correction, podcasting. Because really every company needs video now for their branding and their marketing and their social media. And it's also a lucrative industry for our young people to learn about.
I know that we encourage a lot of films to shoot in Western Mass. It certainly has a variety of backdrops from rural to urban, and there are a lot of resources here to make a movie happen. But in terms of our local film community, what kinds of films are getting made here? Is it major motion pictures, documentaries, commercials? What kind of film do you normally see happening on a regular level?
Well, we've had two major films shoot in the Berkshires within the last year and a half, right? Maestro was shot with Bradley Cooper at Tanglewood. Though the big films, they tend to bring their whole crew from Los Angeles, but they did cast a lot of extras locally, which was exciting for people to see themselves in the audience and things like that. And then Blood Knot was here with Michael Douglas, shooting up in Pittsfield. And then there was a small indie film that's getting a lot of play called The Art of Human Flight. That did very, very well on the festival circuit and is now, I believe, available on Apple TV. So, mostly independent films because of our locations and also because of the tourism industry. We have so many hotels and caterers and services that can help small films especially. And in terms of documentaries, I'm very excited. We're taking film into the classroom. We've been asked to take film into every school in Berkshire County through the Berk 12 initiative and Berkshire Portrait of a Graduate, which are really the characteristics that our kids need when they graduate 12th grade. And they've determined that film is the art form that should go into every school, film and dance. So we are debuting our film curriculum in Pittsfield High School with an English teacher in 2 classes this fall, with the idea to expand into 5, possibly 5 high schools in the spring. So that will be students making 6-minute films about topics that are important to them, especially social issues. So we're looking forward to getting that going. And filmmakers will actually be going into the classrooms to help the students and the teachers make some dynamic films.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about one film that was made here in Western Mass. It's now available for streaming. It's called The Pitch. It was written by Stan Freeman, who was a sports reporter for the Springfield Republican newspapers. He developed it as a stage play, which had its world premiere at the Majestic in West Springfield, and then was supposed to go to New York for a run, but it was during the pandemic, and that run was cut short. And he adapted it, and he filmed it in Western Massachusetts, even though the story takes place in New Haven. But that was kind of an exciting homegrown stage to screen adaptation that came out of West Springfield, Massachusetts.
It's definitely possible. I mean, some of the classes that we've taught online, even during the pandemic, how to pitch your project, how to do a deck for your film. I think the old adage that you have to be in Hollywood doesn't really apply anymore. You can live pretty much anywhere, especially in Western Massachusetts. We have a lot of very talented writers and filmmakers and directors here. So some of them are homegrown and can still get distribution deals. And so we're excited about the pitch. Actually, it's happening with another stage production called Rebel Town that Johnny Sagala just put on at the Lenox High School, which is about Rebel Town is about the Boston Tea Party. And we just applied for a grant to actually put that stage production on film so it could go into schools or possibly play at a venue in Boston for tourists that come. And it was Johnny wrote the play and he wrote the music. So just like the pitch, these are homegrown stage productions that are finding their way to film.
In a previous show that we did here, I think it aired last week, about for high school juniors and seniors getting into college, it was recommended that students that are applying for sports scholarships present a video, or art or music or dance present a video. The college application process probably sets the parameters, what format it is and how long it can be. Where can high schoolers go to learn about basic filmmaking to make a self-portrait to get into college?
Well, sometimes we teach a production class. We don't have one scheduled at the moment. We do have videos actually on our website on berkshirefilm.org, which give instruction about how to hold a camera, how to do sound, some basic editing. So it's accessible for free. So if somebody really doesn't know how to do it, there are some technical videos that they can go to our website to get that information. The important thing, I think, and one of the reasons we want to build this studio is, everybody has access to a phone, but not everybody knows how to tell a good story. And so it's really important that we train our young people to, teach them how to use this very, very impactful medium to tell a good story.
It's essential, whether they're telling it in writing an essay or whether they're telling it in film and video or in a podcast. I think the art of storytelling is something needs to be taught.
I agree. And I think businesses are realizing that they need it too, right? Like,
Of
and
course.
part of the training of young people is that they can get a job in almost any industry, right? Every company is looking for video. So part of the reason we're taking this into the high schools is that the students will be able to make films that they could use for a college application or even to get a job, right?
Diane, you're dealing with lots of colleges in Western Mass and also in a broader area. Are there any good film schools in the area that you'd recommend to a high schooler who wanted a major in film?
A really good question. We have some very, very fine colleges in the Boston area, right? Emerson, Boston University, they have very robust film departments. We're working on it in Western Massachusetts. We're offering a class actually at Berkshire Community College in October on the 26th, how to be a production assistant. One of the ways of getting into filmmaking is to actually get yourself on a set. But if you ask a lot of people, well, I'll go to set and I say, well, who do you report to? And they say, well, the director. And I said, if you talk to the director when you go to set, you'll actually be asked to leave the set. So we taught this class over the summer and it was very successful. It was taught by actually a Berkshireite named Jake Diamond, who started as a production assistant and now he's a first or second AD in New York on commercials and music videos and film. And I had taught the class in the past. He did a much better job. But in this 5-hour class, we really teach people how to be on a film set, right? What's the etiquette? who you report to, what are all the departments. I wish that actually I had had this class before I started in the film industry, because at least it opened everyone's eyes to even just basics that you need to step on a film set.
Yeah, I hope that you can bring that around to other places besides Berkshire Community College.
I think now that we have the curriculum down and the PowerPoint down, we'd be happy to take it to other places in Western Massachusetts. It's really a great way, I think, for young people to realize, like the people that took that class, I would feel comfortable recommending them for a shoot that comes here, because the first thing we get asked for is a production assistant, somebody who knows the area, somebody who knows where to find lunch, somebody that can go pick up an actor and bring them to set without getting lost, with a driver's license. There's opportunities here.
And if once they've been a production assistant on one film and they have that on their resume, it's got to be easier to get the next gig.
Oh, always. And what I say to young people is, filmmaking, if you want to work on set, is really an apprenticeship business. If you do well on set, the producer will take you to the next one or recommend you for something else. So, I think the other thing that was most surprising that Jake shared in the class is he used to say when he first started, well, I'm just a PA, right? And everybody, all the department heads, everyone said, no, you're not just a PA, because if the production assistants don't do their job, the entire set cannot run. If you don't bring lunch, work will stop. If you don't get the actor there, the shooting stops. So I think it was really, I want people to know that even if you start at the bottom, you are just as essential to the running of that film set. It very much is a team sport. Filmmaking is a team sport.
Definitely. We got to take a quick break to acknowledge our underwriters who make On the Mark and other programs here possible, and we'll return to chat more with Diane Pearlman. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. I'm Mark Auerbach. Don't go away.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield. Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Welcome back to On the Mark, everyone. I'm Mark Auerbach. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. If you've missed a part of today's program and you want to watch it again or share it with friends, it's archived along with all of our other programs on YouTube under WSKB Community Radio. And Diane Pearlman from Berkshire Film and Media Collabrative is a frequent guest here, so you can go back in the archives and find some of the other chats we've had. And some of them have been fascinating because we've talked about movies that are filming here in Western Massachusetts or filmmakers that are based here in Western Massachusetts. And the film industry has become very vibrant here in the area. There are a lot of filmmakers and production people that make their home in Western Massachusetts in the Berkshire, even though they might be filming in New York or LA or other parts of the world. Diane, I know that one of the initiatives that you got going was a community fund to help small businesses and entrepreneurs market themselves through video. Is that still in operation?
Oh, very much so. Thank you for mentioning it. We launched it February 14th of 2020, which probably wasn't the best day. But yes, the Community Film Fund was set up for us to give grants, matching grants to smaller nonprofits to make videos for their branding and marketing and social media, because it's the first thing that gets cut out of their budget. And I was just looking back because we've just given out some grants recently again, and we've given well over $50,000 in the last 3 years to our small nonprofits. And that allows organizations like Wham Theater to film their productions and then make them available to audiences, or Shirley Edgerton's Rites of Passage and Empowerment to do a fundraising video for her young women to be able to go on a trip to Africa. Or we just gave money to Berkshire Horseworks, which does therapeutic work with horses for people who are challenged. So it's really been very fulfilling for us, and to be able to give away money and then help coach people to make videos that are helping our smaller nonprofits in the area.
And if a nonprofit is interested, where can they find the application requirements online?
Yes, it's under berkshirefilm.org. There is a button for the Community Film Fund, and we have a small committee. We turn it around pretty fast. The awards are up to $5,000. So you must have the matching funds. Send us a letter either from your executive director or board chair that says that you have the matching funds. But you can ask for $1,000. You can ask for $2,000. You don't have to ask for $5,000. And we then look at the application and see what kind of video you would like to make, and hopefully we can get those funds to you.
One of the things I've noticed this year going to theater is a lot of theaters now are employing the use of video and projections to amplify what's going on the stage. A couple of productions I've seen this year, one at Theater Works in Hartford in particular, was absolutely stunning. And the other one, Next to Normal, which is at Barrington Stage. The use of video and projection is absolutely stunning. Is this a new thing with video moving into the theater?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a new thing. It's definitely more accessible these days, certainly in the digital medium, right? When everything was film, it was a lot harder to do projections, but digital allows you to utilize video through back projection, LED screens. There's just a lot more available, and it's less expensive than it used to be. I haven't seen Alan Paul's production, but I'm looking forward to it. And I think that it's really amazing for artists to have more than one medium available to them, right? If you're a theater person, that you can employ film. I know we've talked to Pamela Tadji at Jacob's Pillow about the new Duke is going to be able to employ virtual reality techniques for dancers. I think it gives the artists palettes in many different mediums, and I think it will make the experience more exciting for theater goers, for people that are seeing dance. I also think it's an opportunity for nonprofit organizations in the arts to work together, right? And to bring their talents together to give their artists a bigger palette to draw from. I think that's very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I was overwhelmed at the video in Next to Normal at Barrington. And my thought was, as more and more theatrical productions utilize video, there'll be more opportunity for videographers and filmmakers to collaborate with the theater companies. And I knew about the Duke Theater at Jacob's Pillow that will be video. So up-and-coming videographers can find work here in other mediums and stay in Western Massachusetts.
It's perfect what you're saying, Mark. I mean, part of it is I've been here for 30 years, and we've been looking for industries that would attract and retain our young people here. And the more opportunity they have to work with local companies, to work with local art organizations, I think we'll either have young people stay here or come back, right? A lot of young people go away for a little while and then realize, oh, Western Mass is a pretty amazing place to live. So we want to make sure that there are job opportunities for them when they come back. And I think it's just exploding. It's only going to get bigger and better. And in terms of shows like Next to Normal, and as younger people see what the potential is, I think there'll be more opportunity for them to work here.
I know one of the groups I work with, the Springfield Chamber Players, is launching its season in Springfield in a new venue called 52 Sumner, which is video and film ready. So we'll be able to do chamber music and have film and video in the background once we've developed what we want to do. And that's something, when you and I started working on projects together 12 years ago, I never thought that the industry would come so far that theaters would be video equipped, or you'd see a Next to Normal, or see what's going on at Jacob's Pillow. And I think about all the opportunities it opens up to filmmakers in our area.
I think you're right, especially like even as we take film into the classroom, kids just need this. They just need their phone, right? And, you know, we're going to provide microphones and like a grip stand for them. And everything else is online, editing tools, you know, the cloud for them to store their interviews. I think the accessibility, it's the democratization of film, right? It's just becoming more accessible to everyone, in schools, to artists. The cost of incorporating film or making a film have just come down to a place where it's affordable, and that's exciting.
Are there any internship possibilities for young aspiring filmmakers here in Western Mass that you'd recommend?
Well, I get a lot of requests. We're a pretty small organization, so can't take everyone. But I do recommend people to other filmmakers in the area. So, you know, if people would like ideas, or we keep a tally of people, and as things come up, we recommend them for jobs.
So people can find out more about Berkshire Film and Media Collaborative at berkshirefilm.org. And it's a great resource. I mean, you have a list of people that are available for a variety of things if a film company wants to come to town.
We do. We have a full database, but there is one other thing I would like to mention, which is we're doing a screening on October 13th of Made in Massachusetts. It's 100 years of filmmaking from 1922 to 2022. And, you know, we will be announcing where it's going to be and the time, but we're very excited. It was made by some filmmakers in Boston. It's only had one screening and never had a screening in Western Mass. So it'll be fun to just see films that have been made here. And there's quite a few from Western Mass that are being debuted in this film.
Well, where is this going to be, or do you know?
We're looking at 2 venues at the moment. So unfortunately, I don't have the exact time and place, but it will be on our Facebook page and our social media and on our website.
That's true. I want to go to that.
Yeah, me too.
All right, we'll sit next to each other and devour popcorn. I heard that it's like a 3-hour film.
It is, but the filmmaker said it's sort of fun. People get up, they go get something to eat, they come back. Like maybe you'll miss one. It's all these clips put together. And people say it goes very fast. You know, just make sure that we show it in a place that has comfortable seats. So that's what we're going to do.
Terrific. Diane Pearlman, it's always great to see you. I look forward to us getting together in person soon. And we're going to take a break to acknowledge our underwriters, and we'll be back with more on The Mark. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. I'm Mark Auerbach. Don't go away.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours.
Underwriting for Community Radio on WSKB is brought to you in part by Rockies. Over 30 convenient locations throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Florida. One of the nation's largest ACE dealers. Expertise and great product selection in paint, hardware, lawn and garden. That's Rockies. Rock solid service since 1926. On the web at rockies.com.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Welcome back to On the Mark, everyone. I'm Mark Auerbach. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. And I have one of my favorite guests, Stefan Czaporowski, who's the superintendent of the Westfield Public Schools and also my co-anchor on a series we did back in the spring with the students of Westfield Technical Academy at Barnes Regional Airport.
Right.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And we're rerunning that now.
I saw that.
You know, which has been, I mean, I watched the reruns and I thought, this was one of the better collaborations that we've done together, and hopefully we'll be doing some in the fall.
Absolutely.
I mean, I want to get backstage or behind the scenes, so to speak, of the music programs in the Westfield schools. And you have a guidance counselor joining me on a program that we're taping at the end of the month to help college seniors get into college.
Right. Well, we have an early college program as well. So if students in Westfield can take in 11th grade a stretch course, so they can take English 101 and English 11 at the same time, and it's co-taught by one of our teachers and a teacher from Westfield, or professor from Westfield State University. They could also do that for history. So in your junior year, you can get 6 college credits while you are taking your regular high school classes as well. I mean, obviously, it's a little more rigorous. And then your senior year, you're able to go up to the college, Westfield State University's campus, and take classes there. And if you can't provide your own transportation, we even provide transportation. So our goal is to try to have students graduating that participate in this program with 15 to 18 credits. And really, that's a semester. But, if you want to talk about college readiness, taking college classes will help you get there ahead of time. And I also think there's a cost savings associated with that because our students don't have to pay. So I love our early college program. It's called Westfield Promise, and it's a collaboration between Westfield Public Schools and Westfield State University that I started working on about 10 years ago. And it finally came to fruition in 2015. And then when I became superintendent, we brought it over to Westfield High School.
Yeah, it's a unique program. You don't see that in a lot of school systems.
You don't. I wish it had been available when I was a kid, to be honest with you, because I probably would have taken advantage of that. And I hear good things from our students that are taking advantage of it, and also the folks from Westfield State University. And any student that participates in Westfield Promise is also automatically accepted into Westfield State University if they want to go there. So it's a great little community partnership, which benefits our kids.
How many kids, what's the percentage of kids at Westfield Tech and Westfield High School that go on to college?
So it's interesting because it's been going down. And I think you see that happening in a lot of places. And part of it is, I think, the cost that's associated with college now. But Westfield High School ranges about 80%. I would say between 80, it's been as high as 90, almost 90% some years, but last year was closer to 80. And then the Technical Academy for college, all right, specifically, it's about 25%, but that has varied between the years as well. But some of the kids here will go on to additional technical schools, so I guess they're colleges, right? But so it should be, I would say 40.
You can see aviation kids were talking about going to Embry-Riddle, which isn't a college per se, but you get a degree.
It's a prestigious school as well, and difficult to get into. And we have kids from culinary that will go into Johnson & Wales University or the Culinary Institute of America. And so is that a college or a tech school? I guess that depends. So, the number of students that are continuing their education somewhere is high at both schools, not necessarily a college or university, though. And again, I think a lot of our students are hesitant because, I've maintained this. I feel like some of our colleges are pricing themselves out of business. I mean, it's too expensive for our students to go get these college loans and graduate with the equivalent of a home mortgage.
I have a close friend who has 2 boys, one who's going into senior year in high school and the other who's a sophomore. The senior one is a lacrosse player.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just verbally committed to a school that's going to give him a 4-year scholarship.
That is a great deal.
Which is a great deal. The other one is a sports person, but my friend has got to look into paying. She says $80,000 to $100,000 a year.
That is
for college.
To me. That is.
I didn't pay that.
No, and really, so you graduate. Let's say with even $300,000 worth of debt. How do you get out from under that?
You don't. At least maybe at some point you will, but that's
20, 30 years down the road. So how are you able to buy a house, a car, the other things? I guess it's just become, so college isn't affordable anymore. And so I think you're starting to see kids from every community look at other options. And I think you've also seen an increase in the popularity of vocational trade type schools or technical schools, because you're able to go out into a career right away, making pretty decent money. And you can continue your education at your pace at a different level, which I see some kids now doing too. And in some cases, the employer will actually pay a portion of your continuing education as well if it's related to the workplace. So people are trying to figure out other ways to pay for it, because $80,000 to $100,000 a year it's really unconscionable. I mean, that's just too much.
It is. So school goes back very shortly.
Yes.
And you're going to have a new school.
Not until the January, but yes. But that is complicating an interesting part of our school year, because we're doing a mid-year move. So we're moving over the holiday break in December.
So no Christmas vacation for you.
And one of the things that, so the teachers need time to move too. So for everybody grades 1 through 12 in Westfield, the first day of school is a full day, and it is August 29th, a Thursday. But for the students that attend Abner Gibbs and Franklin Avenue School, they're going to start on the 28th, and they're going to have a half day on the 28th and then another half day on the 29th, so the teachers can start collaborating. There are other half days as we get closer to the year, so that teachers can move, at least pack and move their stuff up. And then we have hired movers, obviously, to take everything and move it to the new school. Ideally, you'd like to move over a summer. But this school was scheduled for completion in August, so this month. But then in the end, there's an electrical switch that we're waiting for, some kind of switch that still is, had a long-term waiting list from the COVID era. And so we're not able to open until January, but we're very excited. I mean, I just drove by again. Every time I drive by, it looks fantastic.
I drive into the studio, and it's starting to look complete.
It really is, and the windows are all in, the awnings, and they've even built in the.
Obviously, you've been inside it, right?
Not in a bit, but Pete's going inside, from what I understand, and doing a little tour for us, so that we'll have a video tour, so that we'll be able to show the families and the students, what their classrooms are going to look like and everything else. It's pretty amazing. It really is.
Are the teachers and the kids excited about this move?
Yes. I mean, it's interesting too. Change is difficult, right? And both schools, Franklin and Abner, do not have air conditioning. Now they're going into a place that's air conditioned. But when you've taught in a building for 20 some odd years, you do get attached to your space. But I think the excitement about having the classrooms are just a nice big size. I don't know if you've ever been to Abner Gibbs, Mark, but the classrooms are tiny. And so they're going into these huge rooms with lots of storage and 2 sinks. And it's just, I can't wait till it opens and people can see it. And I hope you'll come and see it as well. It just, this is going to be a state-of-the-art school. It is, but a state-of-the-art school for 50 years or more. I mean, it's built to last. And I think as you drive by, you can see it's big.
Yeah. So what happens to the 2 old schools?
So Franklin Avenue School will get torn down, and that's where the new playground will be, and we're putting in a softball field. And incidentally, for the students at Westfield Tech Academy, they need a softball field. Right now they play at Whitney, and they'll have a new field to play. But also, and the community can use it too. But that'll be the playground. So there's a separate courtyard for pre-K and K, which is enclosed. And then the regular playground will be on the other side of the building where the current Franklin is. Abner, whether we surplus it or keep it for a while for storage, we do have a storage issue in our schools, like where we can put things. And it's particularly our records that we're required to save, some up to 50, 60, 70 years. and there are paper copies. I mean, you could scan them, but that is an expense. So we're still looking at that possibility. Again, either we'll surplus it or we will use it for storage for now. But we also know that at the end of this current school year, Fort Meadow Early Childhood Center, which is as old as Abner Gibbs, will also be closing. So, we're going to have that building to manage as well.
I know last spring there were budget issues. I don't know how much of them got resolved. But what kind of challenges are you going to face in the new school year?
I think in terms of budgeting, it's the unforeseen costs that pop up, which happen some years more than others. But, every time, for example, if a student is on an IEP, which is an individualized education plan, and then their IEP changes and requires them to go out of district, we have to pay for that, but we haven't budgeted for it. So it might be some of those schools charge as much as $60,000 to $100,000 a year, and those will impact our budget. In terms of staffing, I will say this, though. This isn't necessarily a challenge. It's a good thing. We're seeing many more applicants than we had seen for jobs in the last few years. And I think through COVID, we had vacancies that we simply could not fill. And we are almost at full staffing capacity this year, which is good for our students, of course, and our schools. But that's where some of the remaining funds had come. For example, we were able to pave the upper campus parking lot here. We have new tennis courts at Westfield High School opening up this year. A lot of capital projects are going on. We have $1 million boiler room remodel, new boiler project at Westfield Intermediate School. So there are a lot of good things happening in our schools in terms of projects too. So it's not just having, in general, if I had to summarize, we're very optimistic about the start of this school year.
Did you get a break between last year and the upcoming year?
A little. I took vacation days here and there, yeah. And I was able to go to the Cape, but that was even a work conference too. So, there's a lot to do this summer. It was a busy summer. It's been a busy summer. Planning for the opening of a new school, that's not something that you do. And this is the first new school I've ever opened, right? So this is my 9th year as superintendent. The amount of work that goes into it is a lot. So planning for that. And just as a district, we're focusing on achievement, attendance of students, and so trying to get those pieces into play that occurs at all schools takes a lot of planning, and so we've been working on that. And again, but we're excited. I think I don't know that we're ever going to be over the COVID era that I referred to earlier, but I think it's starting to feel every year that goes by it gets a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, people are still getting sick. People still have a mindset of being remote and all that, but it gets less and less.
Less and less. And I think, I know there's been an uptick in COVID this summer, right? We've heard about that. And that does make me nervous. We obviously don't want that in our schools because that'll affect attendance, but we don't want you to come to school sick. So it's a conundrum. The state actually... they don't have, they rate schools based on student attendance. And so in terms of their accountability status or what level you're at or whether or not you need assistance. But at the same time, so they don't have any excused absences. So even if a student is out 5 or 10 days for COVID, to them it's not an excused absence, even though at our level we will excuse that absence. It does not count at the state. So when you hear these chronically absent students, and that is a byproduct of COVID. That is resulted as part of COVID. So students that are out more than 18 days in a year or more than 10% of the school year are considered chronically absent. So we're also trying to work on that so that we, and that means creating a safe and secure environment for our kids so that they want to come to school, so they feel comfortable. And while we always work on that, there are things that we have to do more, I think, to encourage students to come to school. At the same time, we don't want them to come to school sick, though, because then they're going to get everybody else sick, and then your attendance goes ways down. I'm not sure it's a battle where we can overwhelmingly win, but I think we can certainly make a dent and improve our attendance percentages.
Sounds good. We're going to take a quick break to acknowledge our underwriters that make your program, Superintendent Spotlight, and my programs On the Mark and Art Speed possible. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. We'll be right back.
Support for community radio on WSKB provided by Westfield Electroplating, Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
Join us every Thursday morning
from 6 until at least 7:30.
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show
right here on WSKB 89.5
Community Radio 89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Welcome back to On the Mark, everyone. I'm Mark Auerbach. Peter Coles is our chief engineer. I'm chatting with Stefan Czaporowski, who's the superintendent of the Westfield schools. He has a program here on Thursday mornings. Right?
Thursday morning. We are premiering September 4th, I believe. Yes.
So your show's on a hiatus?
It goes on hiatus for the summer.
Oh, okay. I wonder if they show reruns.
Pete, do we show reruns? Probably.
Yeah.
No.
Best of shows.
Bobby G takes over and does a 4-hour show.
Oh, so other shows might take over. Okay.
So you're looking forward to being back on the
Absolutely. I was almost tempted to say welcome back to Superintendent Spotlight when we came
go
back
ahead
after
and say
that.
it.
No, that's okay. It's all right. But our combined shows, I want to go back to those because we those came out really good, and I still want to say we have some impressive students here in Westfield schools.
And I got to say, not only are the students impressive, but Galen Wilson, who runs the aviation program, he was just one of the best guests ever.
So I've learned if you bring people on and ask them to talk about things that they're passionate about, it goes really well. And he is, I think I've said this to you before, everyone that I've met that is in aviation is super passionate about it. They love it. And that's a good thing for folks that fly in planes like you and I. We want them to love their job and love what they do so that our planes are safe. But I'm just really impressed with the quality of student that comes out of that program.
Not only that, I was so impressed with the enthusiasm that the staff at Barnes Airport have towards this program, and the guard has towards the program, because we did 2 shows together, and I did a third with Chris Willenborg.
That's right, you did.
Colonel Moon. And, I've been out at Barnes a couple of times this summer. In fact, I'm covering theater up in Chester on alternate Fridays, and stopped there for lunch. And I was with a friend a couple of weeks ago, and we watched this huge tanker land and limousines coming out of the back. It was the day before Kamala Harris.
I was going to say, Kamala Harris came here.
Thing in Pittsfield, and see the Secret Service. And Barnes was just buzzing. And I kept looking over at the student hangar because the biplane that we sat underneath when we were doing our show was out on the tarmac.
I think I wish she had come during the school year. I think we would have liked to. I think it would have been nice for us to be included in that. But Barnes is a great airport, and I think utilization is up. And I'm happy that the vice president landed here in Westfield. That was really cool.
It was cool.
How often does that happen, right?
Not very often. I can't imagine it's maybe the first time.
I think I have not. I mean, rumor has it Amelia Earhart was in the hangar that we currently occupy up there at one point.
I believe Michelle Obama
it is
landed
historical.
here.
I think Obama
did he land here?
Landed at Westfield because
Michelle did.
Michelle did.
Oh, because the Pittsfield Airport, where Kamala Harris was going to speak, the Pittsfield Airport is real small.
Yes, it makes ours look like
this is
like Bradley or something.
International field.
Exactly.
Are you starting any new programs academically this year?
So I think we're enhancing the programs that we have. That is the plan. We're looking to expand programs. We're working toward expanding a couple of programs at the high school. We're looking at a hospitality program potentially, and hoping to have a partnership there with MGM, for example. And we have the Kids Corner, or the an early childhood program there now, but we'd like it to get it. And there are some kids who go in that pathway and they're able to go to HCC and they have some articulation credits, but we would like to make it a Chapter 74 certified program, so it would be like a shop, for example, like you have here, where the students would leave with a certificate where they could actually open up their own daycare kind of thing, or go into teaching, depending on which, there's multiple levels. So those are the things we're looking at, but we're not adding that this year. But I will tell you that, two of the other renovations at Westfield High School, the science labs are being renovated right now, and they're almost done. And so they're being refreshed, essentially. I mean, everything worked, but so they're just being refreshed, and the old lab tables that were bolted down, we're moving those out and putting in flexible seating so that the kids can move around. And, that was an earmark from Senator John Vilas, so we're very appreciative of what he's done for us. And the same thing, so that there's going to be a new entrance at Westfield High School, same entrance, but a new procedure. There are going to be 2 sets of doors, right? So if you've ever been to Westfield High School, you get in the first set, and the main office is way over here, so you have the ability to go to anywhere else you want in the building without checking into the main office. And we wanted to eliminate that and increase safety. It's like a vestibule. So let's say a parent wants to drop off a lunch or something like that for a student. They actually don't have to go in the building anymore. They can just do it through a sliding glass window. So it's to increase safety. The new school will have that. Westfield Intermediate School has that, and we are in our capital plan is to add that at every school. So those are, aside from the tennis courts, which look beautiful, by the way, at Westfield High School. There was an article in the Westfield News yesterday with a picture of the courts. They're the high school colors. They're not typical. So we've really done a lot with that. This has been the year for us of maintenance projects, and everything costs money, so you have to do what you can with the funds that you have.
And you've got so many challenges with such a limited budget.
Right. That's why you do the best you can with what you have. And last year was a very difficult, probably one of the more difficult budget years that I've ever gone through in 9 years as superintendent. And, for varying reasons. I do worry about what's going to happen moving forward. Every time there's even a recession, it affects schools, right? And people, have to understand that we are allotted a budget and we have to stay within our means. So transportation costs are up, electricity costs are up, gas. I mean, inflation affects the schools as well, and it affects our budgets.
As you look ahead, do you have a wish list of things that you want to do that maybe for your 10th anniversary as superintendents that you'll be able to fund?
One of the things we're looking at is, combining the 2 schools. And I know there are some people who don't want to do that, but, we work through the Massachusetts School Building Authority to get reimbursed for school buildings. So, MSBA for short is reimbursing 70% of the costs at this new elementary school. So that 30% will fall on the taxpayer here through bonds that the city council voted on. So what does that look like for a high school? And if we tried to build 2 high schools, that wouldn't work. This school, the portion of the building we're in right now, was built in 1962. Upper campus was built in 1931, and they built a connecting campus in 1994. This school has seen better days.
Better days.
And the high school also, which was built in 1973, but that we've actually been investing so much into the high school that I'm not sure it would qualify for an MSBA grant for a replacement, but I think this school might. So one of the things I'd like to do before I retire is hash that out so that we can have a new high school. There are a lot of communities around us that have them. Their schools were in far worse shape than either of ours at the time that they got them. But I think down the road, that I would love for that to be my legacy before retiring, is just getting a new school. And I think some people are worried about having more of a comprehensive model where it's half-day shop and half-day academics. And whereas I think it would be beneficial to do that for students in grades 9 and 10, I think students in 11 and 12 have to remain on the of shop, week of academics system, because that's what our employers want, right? So we would do a hybrid model, but it would also increase access for students in general. Like, so right now, if a WTA student wants an AP class, they don't have access to it. But if a student from Westfield High School wants to take maybe something in auto tech, they don't have access to it. Maybe just basic car maintenance would be something we could do. So by combining the schools, we are using our resources better. Better utilization and providing more opportunities for kids while still keeping the integrity of a vocational technical high school at the same time. And think about, one of the things the students don't come to Westfield Tech for is because they don't have, say, a football team or a volleyball team. So, in 8th to 9th grade, those are some of the big factors as to which school you choose. And so they will actually go to the high school instead of coming here, even though they probably would have done better in a trade. So with one school, you could play as many sports as you want, and any extracurricular activities we aren't able to have here. It just opens up more opportunities for kids. And that's really all I try to do in my job every day is really just give kids more options, more things to do, things that they're interested in.
Well, we've only got a minute here, and it's the first full week of August. School doesn't go back for a couple of weeks. What are you going to cram in on a vacation side or playtime in the next 2 weeks?
I don't know yet. I haven't gotten there. I'm still trying to, maybe a long weekend or two between now and then, somewhere in the beach that I enjoy. That would be great. But I'm also excited for the school years to start already. Isn't that something?
Yeah,
I am.
I can believe that. This is the first show that I've taped in almost a month because Pete was away and I took some time off. And I was really ramped up today to come back to work.
Absolutely. And I think for me, work is work, but the kids are what make it the best. So when they're back, it's better. And the staff, right? So now, we're doing administrative things, but being able to interact with the kids and the staff. The first 3 days of school, our central office team is out at the schools greeting staff and greeting the kids because that's the best part of our job.
And one of the things you do very well is interact with the kids. Whenever I have kids from Westfield Tech on a program, they know who you are. Some of the aviation students last spring said, "He's my friend." And I thought, well, that's great. The fact that you interact so well with kids is great.
I love being a principal and a teacher, by the way, and I do miss that. But I do get the opportunity to still interact with students, and I feel like for my own sanity, I need to continue that because it reminds me of your why. You're here for the kids and to make things better for them. So that makes me, when they're succeeding from opportunities that we've provided them, I mean, that's a win. That's success.
Stefan Czaporowski, Superintendent of the Westfield Schools. Always great to have you on.
Thank you.
And we will do some co-anchoring this fall. You can catch Stefan's program after Labor Day on Thursday mornings, and it's fun. You should catch it if you have a chance. Peter Coles has been our chief engineer. I'm Mark Auerbach. We'll see you next week with another edition of On the Mark.